Now, I would like to introduce you to someone who is the embodiment of Solid Ground's efforts to share power with people in our programs. Our next speaker lived at our housing campus on Madison Park with her mother and younger brother for 7 years. During that time, she graduated from the University of Washington and the University of Washington School of Law. Go Huskies. She joined Solid Ground's Community Accountability Council to provide participant perspectives on agency's operations and programs. She then joined the agency's board of directors in 2021, helping to formalize the CAC's role in selecting board members. In 2023, she was elected board chair of the Solid Ground Board of Directors. Please join me in welcoming Mary Ruffin.
Thank you for that introduction, Shalimar. And wow, she wasn't lying. There are a lot of you here, and that's really incredible. When I think of Solid Ground, the first word that comes to mind is community. It's a word you'll hear often tonight, and that's because it truly is at the core of Solid Ground's mission and purpose. It's mind-boggling to think that my first introduction to Solid Ground occurred nearly a decade ago when, due to a series of unexpected events, my family found itself in a reality I had naively thought was not possible. We no longer had a home, and we were flailing without a safety net to catch us, or so we thought. After what felt like hundreds of calls and hundreds of appointments that required the entire series of events that had gotten us to that point to be retold just one more time, what felt like hundreds of times, we met Kelly Standley, a housing case manager with Solid Ground. To say a weight was lifted off of our shoulders would be a severe understatement. At the time, I was an undergrad at UW, and instead of dedicating myself to being a student, my mom and I had traded off the daily grind of appointments and paperwork to look for housing. So finally, I felt like I could focus on school and becoming the person who I was supposed to be. Fast forward, and my family is living on the Sandpoint campus, and I get the opportunity to meet some of the most generous and neighborly people I have met to date. Neighbors that had so little and yet seemed to have boundless generosity. My little brother became involved in campus activities. My mom went back to school and made friends with neighbors and staff. Many of you know her. She went back to school, and I continued my education at the University of Washington. At the time, I only knew Solid Ground as an organization running the Sandpoint campus. But over the years, it became so clear to me that Solid Ground was so much more than that. Solid Ground was nurturing a resilient community, a community of people that leaned on one another through hardship, relied on one another for support, and advocated for ourselves from the Sandpoint campus all the way to City Hall. When I went to law school, I knew I would be very busy, and I was, but I also knew that I had a responsibility to remain involved in Solid Ground and connected to the community that had lifted me up for so many years. I still remember seeing the email from Solid Ground's anti-racism initiative manager, Tiffany Lamoureux, asking if I was interested in joining this new little group called the Community Accountability Council. Woo woo! Over the next 2 years, I got to spend time exchanging experiences, troubleshooting program, and discussing what community-driven solutions actually look and feel like for program participants. The CAC provided us with a platform to not only assess the current state of Solid Ground, but to also discuss the possibilities of what could be. When the opportunity to join the board of directors presented itself, the decision was not an easy one. But I am eternally grateful for the experiences and perspective the CAC provided me. Since joining the board, I have met yet another amazing community at Solid Ground. I've developed a deeper understanding of programming and the responsibility of a board. But transitioning from a resident of Solid Ground to board chair hasn't been easy, but it has been a powerful and transformative journey. For me, this position means more than a title. It means I have a real, tangible power in the decision-making processes. It means that I can be an active participant in bringing the real-world impacts of our decisions on the communities we serve to the forefront. This role is not only a testament to Solid Ground's commitment to inclusion and giving communities a voice, but also a personal milestone that highlights how lived experience and leadership can merge to forge a chain reaction in community empowerment. My commitment, and more crucially, my trust in the Solid Ground community has never been stronger. And tonight, I get the opportunity to be in community with Solid Ground once again with all of you. So thank you for being here, and congratulations to Solid Ground.
Let's get a huge round of applause for Mary. And Mary, just you wait. Don't you leave that stage yet.